Hey guys, LevelCap here, and welcome to This Week in Gaming, the news show where we catch you up on all the big stuff that happened with video games in the last week. It's been a divisive week, with Stalker 2 blowing past 1 million sales and the reviews being all over the place. Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 launched to overwhelmingly negative reviews, plus we got some major reveals for Path of Exile 2, the finals, and much more. Let's get into it. So, after waiting well over a decade, I am happy to report that Stalker 2 is finally here and we can play it right now. And despite some major bugs and performance issues, it's already sold over 1 million copies. It hit over 100,000 concurrent players on Steam, and it's likely got millions of players downloading it via their Xbox Game Pass subscriptions. Reviews are a bit divided right now, with many critics calling it a genuine and incredible Stalker game. However, criticism about the game's AI systems, performance issues, and bugs is a common complaint. One of the standout issues is that the A-Life 2.0 system is hampered by bugs. Previous Stalker games simulated a full life cycle for all NPCs in the world. This meant that NPCs could interact with each other and act out their day independent of the player's activity. In Stalker 2, it seems that there's several bugs preventing this system from fully working. The developers say that they're working on several fixes for A-Life 2.0 issues as well as other known bugs, some of which can actually break main mission lines, which is a bit of a problem. If you want a more in-depth look on Stalker 2, check out my first impressions video. Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 launched this week to overwhelmingly negative reviews due to server issues preventing the game from being downloaded properly. Players that successfully downloaded the game also ran into several server-related issues that basically made it unplayable with frequent crashes and errors. It got so bad that the reviews were briefly worse than Overwatch 2's, which was the worst reviewed game ever on Steam. Now, to their credit, the developers had run stress tests simulating up to 200,000 players before launch to identify issues, but it sounds like the game was even more popular than expected. Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 relies heavily on data being streamed in as you play. It's simulating the entire Earth at an incredible level of fidelity, and installing all of the data available in the game would be terabytes of info. So constant streaming in of this data is necessary for the engine, and if there's a high enough demand for the game, it can outpace the server availability, bringing the whole game offline. Hopefully the devs can sort out the issues quickly and add additional server capacity. Upcoming action RPG Path of Exile 2 is launching in early access for PC and console on December 6th. The devs released an extensive breakdown on all the new features and content that will come with early access. Expect 6 of the game's 12 classes. Major core gameplay improvements and reworks from the first game have been added, a skill tree with 1,500 nodes, endgame areas, unique skill trees, a new trial system that unlocks major advancements for your chosen character, and much more. This is shaping up to be one of the most massive games of its kind, and that's saying a lot considering the size of the first game. And while Path of Exile 2 will be free to play when it leaves early access, you'll need to buy a $30 supporter pack or have spent a certain amount of time in the original game to get access. Following a leak of the final's upcoming Season 5 reveal, Embark released the full key art for the season. It confirms an Aztec theme and potentially a new triple-barrel shotgun coming with the update. They also released a new shotgun, the M26, that's available right now. And in a bit of a surprise announcement, the finals is also releasing on PlayStation 4 December 12th. Season 4 has been a big hit for the game, with more players staying active in the weeks following its release than previous seasons. Hopefully that trend continues with Season 5. In a surprise big win for gamers, Steam have updated their rules for DLC and Season Pass content that guarantees players a partial refund for undelivered content. Developers will be required to list all the content included in DLCs and Season Passes up front, plus their respective release dates. Should any of that content not make it to release as advertised, players that paid for it will be eligible for at least a partial refund. It'll be interesting to see if there's an actual impact of this new policy. Dark Souls and Elden Ring developer FromSoftware may get acquired by PlayStation. Sony's gaming division submitted a letter of intent to purchase the legendary studio. Sony and FromSoftware have had a long history of direct support and exclusivity. Demon's Souls and Bloodborne were both financed as part of an exclusivity deal with PlayStation. If the acquisition happens, it could mean Xbox and PC players will be waiting much longer for ports of future games, but who actually knows if that's Sony's intent in this new era of hopefully less exclusivity. During their latest investor address, Alan Wake and Control developer Remedy announced that Alan Wake 2 has sold 1.8 million copies and that Control 2 will lean more heavily into its RPG mechanics. Both games were hits, but commercially they didn't exactly go toe-to-toe with the more traditional AAA titles. Remedy acknowledged this as part of their address that while their goal is to make commercially successful games, their focus is on keeping their unique identity as a studio. This is honestly quite refreshing to hear. Remedy recently partnered with multimedia corporation Annapurna to fund 50% of Control 2's development and also create TV shows, movies, and more based on Remedy's titles. Xbox announced a big change for their Game Pass Ultimate subscription. Gamers who pay for this tier will now be able to stream Xbox titles that aren't on Game Pass. Xbox game streaming has been around for a few years now and is considered one of the better options since it was bundled with Game Pass and it meant you could basically use any device with a web browser to play Xbox titles. But the selection of games was limited to ones on Game Pass only, so even if you owned a game directly, unless it was on Game Pass, you just couldn't stream it. Now there's 50 titles available to stream outside of Game Pass, with more on the way. The PlayStation 5 Portal is getting some nice cloud streaming features. The handheld companion device for the PlayStation 5 launched to pretty mixed reviews late last year. Previously, you had to connect your PlayStation 5 via Wi-Fi over the internet, which would then let you stream your games to your handheld device. But this week, PlayStation opened up the ability to stream PlayStation Plus premium titles via cloud services. Cloud streaming is currently in beta and uses PlayStation's online servers to stream the games rather than having your PlayStation 5 do it for you. Valve's in-development MOBA shooter Deadlock has a new matchmaking system that tunes the skill level of your matches based on your stats with your selected character. The game received ranked matchmaking last month, but it had limited availability during specific hours, it had harsh requirements for access, and it frustrated players with party size limitations. This week it got an entire rework. Instead of being split between ranked and casual, it's once again a single public match option, but now you'll earn MMR every match to go up and down rankings as you play. The game will also use your MMR for each hero individually to match you against players with similar skill levels. You can queue up with as many players in your party as you want. The only limitation is that the amount of MMR you can gain in a match will be reduced if the skill range of your party is too wide. Overall, this sounds like a pretty good step in the right direction. Deadlock is currently in early development. It has no planned release date, and Valve haven't done any marketing for it beyond official update announcements on Steam. In our final story this week, Space Marine 2's mod support is getting shut down. Sort of. The developers announced mods will be banned in public servers due to stability issues. Mods were apparently causing crashes and save corruption problems even for players who didn't have the mods. You'll still be able to use mods in private matches, and the developers are working on official tools to make modding easier and hopefully more stable. And that wraps it up for This Week in Gaming. If you guys want to support the show, drop me a like, subscribe for more content, ding the notification bell to beat the YouTube algorithm with me. Up next, check out my first impressions of Stalker 2. It's certainly an incredible game, bugs and all. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.